Man, I can't wait to try this new Isshiki DLC. Heard from all my friends that he's really cool. Oh, Isshiki? Already nerfed him.
What is that?
What do you mean you already nerfed him? Yeah, we gotta come off the counters quick, you know? Don't you have anything better to do with your time? Like, nah, I don't know. I don't really have anything better to do but, you know, make everybody's life and Shinobi Striker visible, you know? And we didn't just counter him, we countered his jutsu, his substitutions. Well, he didn't come with a substitution. I wish he would have came with one, because I could have nerfed that too. We just like nerfing things, you know? I don't shower, don't eat, don't brush my teeth, don't anything. As soon as DLCs come out, we just work on counters. Yeah. And on that note, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notification, so you can know whenever I bring counters to nerf your favorite character to you. But let's go ahead and hop straight to this video.
Just to lay out your own domain. We took it. That was the best you could do, Austin.
息がくせえ。
Okay, but if we being serious, we really get into this video, man. We just cleared up, man. Ain't no funny business going on, man. I know y'all see the hat, man, but I got this from Universal Japan. It's just like a little Jujutsu Kaisen hat from my man Fushiguro. So I mean, ain't no funny business going on. But let's go ahead and hop straight into the, you know, the DLC review, basically, and the counters and stuff. So when you look at the rewards for Isshiki, for the most part, you're gonna get his Jutsu 1. Of course, you're gonna get the Isshiki outfit, which I really like because you got the tattoos going down your chest. That's really fire. I like that. Of course, you're going to get the Karma, the Ultimate, the Shinobi Boost, and then you're also going to get Jigen's piercings, which, you know, pretty interesting. I probably won't be really wearing the earrings because it's kind of hard to really see it on your CAC, but for people that like it, pretty cool. And then you're going to get the Sukunahikona staff. I feel like they kind of dropped the ball with this one because I thought they were going to actually give you the defense weapon, which is like, you know, the staff you use fighting Naruto and Sasuke, but instead they give you just a ninja tool, which it's pretty cool because the rods disappear and they also increase. They add some debuffs. I forgot what it was. I think one of them is substitution. I think health recovery, but it's pretty good with the ninja tools. And then also you're going to get the face paint Jigen. I feel like they dropped the ball with this one. They just gave us the Roman numeral that he had when he was part of the Kara. I feel like they very much could have gave us the, you know, where it looks like his eyes are bleeding, what they gave us whenever his Karma unlocks, which really makes me kind of sad. And then you get the Shinobi Boost, and then you also get the title Husk. So all around the rewards are okay, but nothing just to blow your mind. Okay, so when we get into the jutsu, we're going to talk about the first one, and the first jutsu is going to be the Sukunahikona. So what this does, use your shrinks enemy projectiles instantly, nullifying their teleportation ninjutsu activated for user upon enemy close range attacks or ninjutsu. Added input generates a column at enemy's location, causing damage, reducing speed, and increasing ninjutsu and substitution cooldown. So some key things to know with this one is that you can activate this airborne, and this can be used as a chain attack. So I think if multiple people try to hit you while you're in this state, and then you activate the rods, you can hit all of them with the rods, because I was able to do it when I was in a match. Also, one thing to know, you can't use the rods until somebody strikes you. So if somebody doesn't strike you, if they're only shooting jutsu or throwing ninja tools at you, you're never going to get that counter state where you're able to actually activate the rods and hit them, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's still pretty good that you can tank most jutsu. And this thing lasts for around 10 seconds whenever you don't get hit, but if you get hit, it adds an additional 8 seconds where you're in that state of actually being able to use the rods to hit your opponent. So some strengths of this jutsu is its stun combos. So the rods themselves don't have just the greatest tracking because you can dodge them pretty quickly. It's kind of similar to Amaterasu where if you move, you can get out of the way of them. But you can very much pair some good combos with these rods because the rods add like a staggering effect where you're kind of stunned for a little bit. And these things protect against trap techniques. So if you go up over Icicle Swallow or something like that, or if you go over a ceiling tag, you're not going to get knocked out of this state because the Sukunahikona is going to protect you. Also, it counters time space jutsu, so using heavenly hand power with the ice 1,000 needles of death, it's not going to work. Time space will like pull you, and like universal pull and stuff like that will pull you, but your opponents are still not allowed to damage you. Even if you use something, even like Inferno style flame lightning, you're still going to sub out of it, which is pretty crazy. And then also, like I said, this thing shrinks ninja tools instantly. So when I used the Angelic Advent, it was just literally like, it looked like nothing was even coming out of my Angelic Advent, which is pretty crazy. This jutsu breaks guard and it breaks Susa armor. So things like Susuna armor is going to get broken immediately. You're not going to have to worry about that. And like I said, this thing has multiple hits. So when we move over to some counters with this thing is the second activation, like I said, won't activate unless you get hit. So that's one thing to keep in mind. The range isn't extremely far. So I feel like for the most part, if you get outside of the lock-on range, if you can't lock onto your opponent, you can't hit them with the Sukunahikona. And sometimes even if you are still locked on, the rod still won't hit them. So some things that can help you get out of this, of course, is going to be like Flying Raijin and Teleportation Jutsu, because these are going to allow you to move really quickly, and these rods don't really come that fast, so it's just like dodging Amaterasu. Also, these things won't track invisibility. So if you use the Moonlit Pill or Chikashoto after doing the first strike where they're supposed to be able to hit you with the rods, they won't be able to track you with the invisibility. It just won't find you, period. Of course, clearing beneficial status effects gets rid of this. So if you're using Cooling Breeze, or if you also use Strange Taste, you can get rid of the Sukunahikona state. So this is one of the best counters for this, because Cooling Breeze and also Strange Taste just get rid of Sukunahikona and they won't have the time space. And then also, the rods won't hit tunneling jutsu. So if you're underground, the rods will not hit you. And then some other jutsu counters that I found were pretty interesting. Shadow Possession for some reason goes through. Shadow Possession will let you lock them up and you can hit them with the second strike, and the Sukunahikona state is completely gone. Tsukuyomi works also, which makes sense because it's a little bit of a genjutsu, so it makes sense that it's not normal jutsu. And then Mind Transmission works, so it's crazy that the hill types are the ones that had the 3 counters to this first jutsu. Okay, so we move over to the second jutsu. The second jutsu is going to be the Karma, and this one has a 15-second cooldown. I didn't mention the other one had a 22-second cooldown, but this one adds Karma into a single enemy, dealing damage. Additional input grants the user increased attack tracking and tracking ability. User also automatically gets behind target and deals damage. So, I'm gonna just say it, bro. This one is kind of mid, and I'm gonna let you know why when we break this down. But, so some key points to know about it. Boost comes after the strike, so you won't be able to move quicker, you know. It's better, it would be better if you had the attack tracking and stuff before having to, you know, actually activate it. It'd be a lot better if it was more like the Uchiha Shuriken, where the first activation gives you the boost. Another key thing, it doesn't seem like the animation could be broken, so once you get them in a little chokehold and you're hitting them with the Itachi choke, bro, it doesn't seem like you can really knock them out of that animation. And it lasts for around 8 to 10 seconds before the Karma activates, but once you actually activate the Karma boost with the attack tracking lasts for about 6 seconds. So, some strengths of this jutsu, I will say that it's not the longest range when you do the initial charge. It has a really short charging range, but once you actually hit them, the distance that you can teleport to hit them is pretty crazy. I tested it out in the map, and I was able to hit them from a pretty far distance. So this thing is weak against most projectiles, and this is where I say this jutsu is kind of mid. You can literally stop them from charging at you with like a Paralysis Seal, Paper Bomb Kunai, Vanishing Rasengan, pretty much any projectile, Fireball, anything. And this thing is weak against super armor strikes, so things like Reverse Scale and Baryon Barrage, and also 8 trigrams Hazan Strike. Like I said, any strong charging jutsus with super armor and any projectile is automatically going to stop the charge with this jutsu. And I think it adds some balance, but it also adds a little bit of midness to it. You very much got to pair this in with your combos, or it's going to be like something where you're going to have to hit people off guard, because it's pretty much the armor that you get with this jutsu is very similar to Water Prison. And then also, this thing won't hit tunneling jutsu, so if you put the Karma on them and then try to come hit them after with the kick strike that you do where you come back and you drop kick them, it's not going to work. But it does work with invisibility. So if you put the Karma on them and then they like to go invisible, you can come back and hit them after they're invisible. And I didn't mention Kamui will allow you to pretty much counter both of these jutsus as well. So there's some good things to know about that one. But for the most part with the Karma Jutsu, like I said, the charging is the part that really sucks. The fact that you can pretty much use any projectile jutsu and you're going to be able to stop that charge. But once you actually etch the Karma onto your opponent, it's pretty good that this is going to be a pretty good flag jutsu, because you're going to be able to hit them from anywhere where they're on the map for the most part, and this thing's going to be able to get people when they're invisible. And then we move over to the ultimate, which is going to be the Vast Dark Heavens, which I wasn't too sure about this ultimate at the beginning, but after actually having it ran against me, yeah, it's actually pretty good. So we look at the description. A jutsu which rains gigantic boulders down on the enemy. Upon impact, the boulders also send out shockwave damage to surrounding enemies, temporary blocking chakra detection, disabling lock-on and status effects. So what I didn't know about this one is when the rocks actually come down, I didn't really know what it was going to do, but actually seeing the effect, it kind of puts you into a state where you think you're dead. I thought I was dead at first because you know whenever you die in this match, all the buttons go away and you're pretty much just looking at a screen of your character. That's pretty much what this did. Whenever the shockwave hit you, it kind of just felt like you couldn't really do much. It was pretty much you're decombobulated. It's pretty crazy. So some key points with this thing is, of course, you have super armor during the activation, so of course, the animation, you're not going to get knocked out of it. This thing is long lasting, so I tried to find some counters. I mean, for the most part, this is going to be just like countering most ultimates. I mean, you might be able to use something like Boruto Stream or something like that, but even then, the shockwave is still going to get you. I even tried to use Inferno style flame control, and this ultimate outlasted flame control. Now, of course, it's not going to probably outlast things like maybe the hit and miss and stuff like that, but pretty much any ultimate that's going to deal damage, this thing's going to outlast. It was even, it got activated at the same time as Infinite Tsukuyomi, and it was still doing out some damage during that. So this ultimate is pretty crazy, and there's not really too many counters to really counter this ultimate. But some key things to get the takeaway from this video, and also some things that I didn't say. Boruto Stream is not going to work for the Karma Jutsu. I tried it, and sometimes it'll work, but sometimes the Karma will also track you and still choke you out even when you're trying to dodge it. But for the most part, for the first jutsu, for the Sukunahikona, your best bet is going to be using one of those 3 healer jutsus that I gave you, which is the Mind Transmission, the Shadow Possession, and also Tsukuyomi. Or you could also use the Cooling Breeze, or also use something that's going to get rid of the status slime effect. But for the most part, there's not much you can do besides maybe doing a Heavenly Hand Power to get them out of the way. This jutsu, they pretty much refined it pretty well to not really get beat out by too many things. The Karma, on the other hand, pretty much, as long as you keep your distance, if you throw a kunai, pretty much anything to interrupt them. Honestly, just treat the Karma Jutsu just like a random person just charging you. It's really easy to counter this jutsu, pretty much any ranged projectile. Now don't try to use like a Rasengan or a Chidori. It is going to beat stuff like that if you're coming with a charging jutsu, and this thing also takes you out of Demon Hunter, so it's going to beat things like that. But for the most part, just use a ranged jutsu and you're going to be able to knock that back. And as far as the ultimate, the main thing is just to keep moving. I'd probably say teleportation jutsu and things like that, but the shock waves that come from the multiple boulders coming down is pretty good with this ultimate jutsu. But let me know in the comments how y'all feel about the Isshiki DLC. Honestly, it was pretty, I mean, I'm gonna give him an S rank. I'm not gonna give him an SS rank just because of how the Karma Jutsu works and how easy it is to knock them out of it, but I also like the balance. It brings balance to the game and it doesn't make the jutsu too overpowered. But let me know how y'all feel about it in the comments. Let me know if y'all think that Season 6 will be announced anytime soon, and who do you want to see for the next season, and let me know how y'all felt about the new video format. But make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all those nice things, and I appreciate all y'all, man. I'm gonna see y'all next time.